And we have breaking news now. The defense attorneys for former President Donald Trump have just wrapped up their third day of cross-examination of the convicted liar, the star witness for the prosecution, Michael Cohen. And it has been another key big day. Earlier today, Cohen admitted to stealing from the Trump organization, or as my guest Matt Whitaker said last hour, embezzlement. Cohen also lied about Trump to Congress and secretly recorded their conversations. Now, we knew all of that. And now the defense is hoping all of these details, along with the new one of how he was embezzling cash from the Trump organization, will leave jurors with a single conclusion. The prosecution's star witness cannot be trusted. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host, Kayleigh McEnany. Also with us today, Fox Business anchor and host of American Dream Home on Fox Business, Cheryl Casoni. And Fox News contributor and editor-in-chief of The Federalist, Molly Hemingway. And 32nd Undersecretary of the Army, former Pennsylvania Congressman and attorney Patrick J. Murphy. So far today, it's been a devastating stretch for the state star witness, Michael Cohen. He's their final witness, so they're going to end on this messy stew. And lawyers for Trump have been relentless going after his credibility. Well, you could do it with a play hammer. You wouldn't really have to hit it very hard. He lies as he breathes. Jurors could begin deliberating as soon as next week. And we heard from former President Trump just before he was entering the courtroom today. And he claimed the entire case is a political attack by the Biden DOJ. Let's watch.
This all comes from the White House. It all comes from the DOJ and the White House. Take a look who's in the room. This all comes from the DOJ and the White House. It's an attack on Biden, who's mentally unfit. He's mentally unfit to be the president of this country. It's an attack on his political opponent. That's all it is. All of the things you see that you saw over the last 4 weeks, most of it should have never even been brought up. And then on top of that, there's no crime. And we go on day after day, and I tell Iowa, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it. I tell New Hampshire, sorry, I won't be able to make it. I'm sitting in an icebox all day.
Patrick, why did the district attorney spend all of this time and all of this money on this case? Why did he bring this case?
Well, you know, you got to put the cards that you're dealt. I mean, the fact of the four cases...
But they weren't dealt. Because everybody had passed, even his predecessor. Yep. Everybody had passed on this in 6 years. Yep. So why did he bring the case?
I think he felt that even if you can't get a conviction, you got to bring it forward, and we'll see if he gets a conviction or not. But the fact is that the star witness, it was 12 years with Donald Trump as his vice president, Trump organization.
He was stealing from the organization.
I know, and he's a bad person, and that's why he's a convicted felon.
Would you have brought this case?
Probably not. No.
Cheryl.
Yeah, well, obviously, we've talked about it repeatedly that Alvin Bragg campaigned in this city that he was going to go after Trump. He is going after Trump. Is it a mess? Yes. Did other jurisdictions reject this case to even take it on? Yes. And now we're seeing why. I mean, you know, I don't know if you saw this morning, but, you know, Katie Cherkowski was on early on Fox and Friends, and she said, look, the prosecution is now going to have to come back, which we know they are, now that we've just wrapped up on the defense questioning, and they're going to have to rehab Michael Cohen. They're going to have to rehab their star witness. This is a mess from start to finish. My only caveat, though, I have to add here, this is a New York judge, a New York courtroom, a New York jury.
That's right.
And I always ask myself every day when I start to watch the coverage of the brilliant ladies of Outnumbered and, of course, the Faulkner Focus, he could still be guilty because this is New York. Can you get a fair trial if you're Donald Trump in New York? I don't know. But Michael Cohen's a mess.
Let's lean into the politics of this. The president talked about being where he is in court instead of campaigning. He was not happy about that. That was just a few hours ago. Let's watch.
I'm here instead of campaigning. As you know, I was supposed to be in a very different state this morning, and the judge actually decided to call it early. And yet, it looks like we're going to have a very big gap between days, and it's going to be determined right now in court. But we're here about an hour early today. I was supposed to be making a speech for political purposes. I'm not allowed to have anything to do with politics because I'm sitting in a very freezing cold courtroom for the last 4 weeks. It's very unfair.
Wow. So he is really breaking it down, Molly, in terms of where he could be. But people want what they can't have. It's human nature. So the more he talks, whenever he does, they're thirsty for it.
Right. But we really are in a stunning moment in American history. We've never experienced anything like this before. This is something we usually associate with the Soviet Union or Venezuela or a third world country, where one political party is trying to imprison and bankrupt their top political opponent, keeping him off the ballot, putting him through show trials, all sorts of trumped-up charges, all for political gain. Now, it doesn't seem to actually be working that well for Democrats, but it is a show trial. I mean, there's no actual crime. There's no evidence to support the crime. The star witness might be the worst witness we've ever seen in American history. And yet, the whole point of a show trial is to secure a quick and easy conviction. That's why it's happening in New York with a very biased jury. And so, absolutely, maybe there's someone brave enough to withstand all of the hatred that Democrats have toward Trump to say this is not a conviction we're going to have. But that's a huge thing to ask of any.
It only takes one.
Listen,
it takes one juror. And then that's it.
Right, and then you won't get a conviction, and it's a jury of your peers. But I wouldn't say it's a show trial. I wouldn't have brought it if I was a prosecutor. But listen, we were here. I was on the couch with them when we were going through jury selection. I mean, it was a fair trial all throughout. Now we'll see what happens next week.
There's no crime.
I'm not saying,
there's no victim. There's no evidence to support it.
The facts don't match the law. It was a dead misdemeanor revived into a felony in a never-before-done way. The New York Times researched the cases. They found never in the history of New York have they brought charges on a federal election. So you guys can decide. Unprecedented. Is that fair? Is that not fair? Michael Cohen ended his testimony, his cross-examination, rather. He was asked if he's working on a third book. He said yes. He was asked if he's considering running for Congress. He said yes, because he has the best name recognition out there. He was asked whether he had a financial interest in the case. He said, yes, sir, though he would not say whether or not he had interest in an innocent verdict or a guilty one. Michael Cohen, this is the jury. Put yourself in their shoes. This is the one piece of evidence. They are being asked to believe Michael Cohen. And human nature is going to have to, in their mind, square Michael Cohen 1.0 with Michael Cohen 2.0. Michael Cohen 1.0 is someone who called Hope Hicks and said, I miss Trump. Michael Cohen 1.0 is someone who said, look, I wouldn't say I was obsessed with Trump, but I definitely respect him greatly. Michael Cohen 1.0 is someone who said he'd take a bullet for the president. Something happens in 2018, it clicks. Michael Cohen 2.0, 200 podcast episodes. Not one does he not mention Trump. Michael Cohen 2.0, selling pictures of Trump behind bars in a T-shirt. Michael Cohen 2.0, paraphernalia that says convict 45, send him to the big house, not the White House. How do you square these two? How do you square these two? Not to mention all of his lying. This is someone with a motive, with an axe to grind, much like Stormy Daniels. And hopefully we have one juror out there who sees this guy. I have a lot of reasonable doubt when it comes to Michael Cohen.
When you look at the statistics right now, remember, New York is not the same place it was even 16 months ago, let alone 6 weeks ago. It just isn't. And when you look at people who are suffering here, it's one of the reasons why Trump thinks he can win here. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But why New York is suddenly on the map for a politician atop the ticket who's on the right. And so really and truly, and I loved how you put that. I wrote that down, Michael Cohen 1.0, 2.0. 2.0 is also a guy who just said, I stole from the Trump organization.
Yes, there you go.
So now the prosecution, Patrick, and I know you were a prosecutor. I don't know if even you could do this job. Their job isn't proving the case first. Their job is to prove their star witness is worth saving. As I said last hour, they got to fix the fixer.
Yeah, and he was a fixer for 12 years. And I think that's what I'm not a fan of 1.0 or 2.0, or if it's going to be 3.0 if he runs for Congress. He's a bad person, and he's been a bad person his whole life. He ran for office before here in New York as a borough councilman.
Can I just say one thing? So you think that Alvin Bragg wouldn't go after him for the felony that he just admitted to? I mean, maybe they had a really sweet immunity deal. But
Well,
you think
he already got
actually
convicted of felonies before, and he had a 3-year sentence. Michael Cohen.
He said he stole from the organization.
Right, and I think that's a different crime that he didn't already admit
So they
guilt
could
to.
go after him, but even
Absolutely.
you apparently don't
Right.
think he will, because they will, Bragg, because you just said he could run for Congress.
No, I'm saying he said he was going to run for Congress, but no, double jeopardy wouldn't, the Eighth Amendment of the Constitution, it's called double jeopardy.
Yeah.
It wouldn't apply here because it's a different crime, and he didn't get convicted of that crime. He doesn't have, so he might be back in a courtroom sometime soon.
And you think Bragg would do that?
Yeah, Bragg's not going to.
The only thing that can save Bragg right now is Weisselberg, and that's not going to happen.
He's in Rikers.
Because he's at Rutgers, so.
Last word?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a huge injustice. The facts do not match the law here. It takes one juror. And I believe that there is going to be one juror who's courageous enough. I know we're in Manhattan, but my prediction is a hung jury. Should be an acquittal, but my prediction is a hung jury.
Yeah. I mean, statistically speaking, you're going to get somebody on that jury who can see through it. I have a lot of faith in the American people who sit on juries.
Yeah, and that's why I got salty earlier, because I don't want to call it a show trial. I'm not for this trial. I wouldn't have did it. But I think the process is playing out. It's a messy process. It's democracy. It's the legal system. But that's why I don't want to see us all attack the legal system when we don't even know what the verdict is.
I actually agree with you, Molly, because I think that the impetus for this was to show.
Yeah.
It's all about the show. But I get what you're saying. All right. We're following day 4 of Michael Cohen's testimony. Remember, one day with the prosecution who probably had like a little heartburn, wish they hadn't started this party. And then 3 days of cross-examination, which have just now wrapped up. So now it's the prosecution's turn again. Minute by minute from the courtroom. Remember, your shorthand is the box on the right side of your screen with some catch-up information and some color from the courtroom, who's there supporting the former president, so on and so forth. We're right back after commercial.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.